I always say that I became a project manager by chance,
Yeah.
or let's say by circumstance. I started a job at Monasa Advisory and Associates, and I started as an intern, doing everything in admin and finance. And as the company sort of grew, then positions were opening up in order to manage the growth. And the Department of Project Management was open, and seemingly I displayed the ability to manage the projects at the scale like that. So yeah, then I just grew into the role.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, speaking of that, and if you look at the position itself, it's one where you find that it's often male dominated. Just how did you navigate yourself through that space?
I won't say in the consultancy space I encountered a lot of male dominancy, but you can tell in the projects that that I am to manage that it was very male dominated. You know, in because I manage projects from different sectors, whether education, infrastructure, housing, you know, and primarily those are led by men.
Okay.
So having to navigate that, and you know, telling the men that the project is going this way because we set the time this way. Yeah, so you just have to be tough in it, because when you are in the role, you are in a position of power. You're not in a position to step back and watch people do. It's sort of like you are managing the project as it goes. So people tend to listen to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you've touched on a key word there, which is time. And obviously, in moments like this, especially given the magnitude of certain projects, you know, you often find at times companies that don't often meet objectives. But how do you guys always ensure that you're always on track? And even if you guys come across challenges, how then do you overcome them?
So the art of project management is that there should always be, we call them artifacts, you know, a project that are built for specific, not projects, but let's say the environment that you're working in. So governance is a big thing when it comes to managing projects and them being on time. Now, in the world that I operate in, the projects that we often get already have a time factor to it. So let's say if you apply for a project through procurement, they will tell you that the project needs to be done within 6 months. So that's the time that you're working within. In hindsight, though, when you do get into the project, you do understand that sometimes the time that has been set is not realistic to the scope that has been set for the project. But the early communication of that is important in project management. You just don't say, no, this project is actually going to take longer than 6 months, so we are going to take longer than 6 months. The documents that you build, you have to submit the change request to your client, that you had anticipated the project to take 6 months, but we are asking for 2 months based on X and Y reasons. You just don't increase the time of a project because it's what you feel like doing.
Okay. I mean, but again, just to also delve a bit further on what you've just said now, in terms of, because you just spoke about, you know, asking for 2 extra months whatsoever, but if we have to look at it, what is often the root cause of these problems, like in terms of delay? I know there are quite a number of factors around managing projects, but where is the problem usually? Does it come down to planning, coordination?
Yeah, like you said. Yeah, like you said. There are various factors. In reality, no two projects are the same. They can have the same characteristics, but generally you won't manage them in the same manner. Something is always going to change one from the other. Now, you also need to understand that certain projects also operate in different political landscape, economic landscape, and just the environment. So projects failing could be to a different factors. I mean, now bringing it back to home, for instance, the issue of the oil.
Yeah.
We a project could have started 2 months ago, but there was an anticipation that the war will happen. You know, that is something that's not within the project manager's control or the project itself. Now, if you require certain material from X country, and let's say that country is facing issues of oil shortage, like, you know, to fuel up the ship, for instance, that has an impact on the delivery of the project on this side, because now you're waiting for the material, and in order to get that material, there is a cost that is implied to it, because you are now going to pay higher than what you've initially anticipated. So sometimes those are things that can play a role, and those are not costs that could have been foreseen, but they are costs that impact, again, the bottom line of expenditure, because then now the project turns out to be more expensive than what was initially budgeted for. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, but now going back to you now, just based on the fact that you've worked on a number of projects, what was a challenge for you? Was it the technical complexities that come with the project, or what comes down to that? Because I know you guys pretty much have pressure in terms of deadlines.
I would say technical. You know, when I look at myself, I often wonder, like, how did I get here, and how am I doing what I'm doing? Because you would understand it like, as a project manager, you're just supposed to manage, you know, time, cost, budget. It's very, you know, that like time, cost, budget. It seems like it's all you do.
Yes.
But you'd find yourself where, well, let me bring it to myself. I find myself sometimes having to deal with finance. I didn't do that well in accounting at school, but here I am. You are managing high budget projects, high impact projects. You'd find yourself in procurement. I didn't study procurement, but I'm learning on the job. You have to find yourself doing contract management. I am no lawyer by profession, but you are learning the technical complexities of managing the entire life cycle of the project. And because you are in the position of, I can't necessarily say that you're in the position of authority, but the skill expert that is required, you sort of have to touch on every area of the project. Just because you're the project manager doesn't mean that you are excluded from different technicalities of the project. You need to be abreast with the entire project and what is happening. So the technicalities is really challenging in certain times, because I'll have to consult my dear University of YouTube just to see how how to do something, how to understand it, or you have to do a little bit of research. It's sort of continuous learning on the job, and unfortunately, you are expected to know some of these things. When the question comes, you need to be ready to answer it.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
The free education for universities, I think that has since been done. But like you are saying, not in exactly the manner that she had said it would be done, but at least something was done. We need to understand the tightness of the economy and also the availability of funding, and we have to look at the numbers of those who turned out to go to universities. So apart from at least something was done, and it was done within the time when she had said that it would be done.
Yeah.
So on that one, at least something was done. Then what remains to be seen is the expansion. If at all she's going to talk about it.
Yeah.
But tertiary education alone, we have got a lot of graduates who are out there.
Yeah.
They don't have jobs.
Yeah, absolutely.
So then again, there was vocational training that was also spoken about. We don't hear quite much. I think that's where the focus should actually be, and what kind of training should be introduced now, and what kind of skills.
Absolutely. There was in that statement of Sona last year, the president. This is her speech. It says the following tax reforms will be implemented during the 2025-2026 financial year. That is the year that just passed.
Yeah.
A reduction of non-mining company corporate tax rate to 30% in 2025 and further down to 28% in 2026. Maybe I'm putting you on the spot here, but are you aware of any reduction in taxes to 30% for non-mining companies? Because I think we have one of the highest taxes, corporate taxes in the region.
Yeah.
And the corporates, the investors are complaining about that. And this promise was made. If you have any ideas on that, I know I'm putting you on the spot here.
Yeah, I think the budget statement that was presented this year, I didn't come across it. And I've got so much interest in mining, and that has never come up. So if it had come up, then I would actually have known it.
Yeah.
But the budget statement doesn't have any of it, unless it's coming, unless it's also something that we need to expect today.
Yeah.
But I don't remember coming across it.
Yeah.
And the Chamber of Mines has been pushing that part of that tax has to be part of what the government wants must be turned into some kind of tax, if I'm not mistaken. But the whole issue of taxation, unless I missed it, but it has never come.
Yeah, because I think we would have known somehow. It's such a big thing.
It's a big thing.
Yeah.
And if it had happened, it is something that the mining companies would never ever forget to shout about.
Yeah.
So I think we need to expect that as well, if anything.
Yeah, absolutely. There was also big pronouncements on unemployment. Of course, the last official numbers stood at 37%. Do you think, what do you think happened over the past year in terms of job creation? I know, for example, that there's that youth fund for young people to apply for money, to reduce rates and create jobs among themselves. But anything else that you're aware of in that space?
Creating jobs is something else that cannot be announced to happen within 12 months. Because then you need to have factories opened, new factories opened, and I would want to believe that if there was an anticipation of any jobs to be created, that was supposed to be in the mines. Mines, oil and gas. But as we are sitting here now, oil and gas, the companies are yet to even declare their FID, and most of the mines, some of them, they are not taking more people in. And I don't think we have had any new mine opened. We have had B2 Gold. They are scaling down, but then they are also pushing on to some other development. But for Ochkokoto, they announced that they were letting some people go. And the mining companies that are coming now, they haven't absorbed as many people as we would want. So job creation is not something that can be spoken about if there are no new factories coming up. If there is nothing that is coming up, the fishing sector, we are still stuck with those hundreds of people. Yes. So where else apart from that? I know maybe you talk about agriculture. So far, it was one of the things that she spoke about. But as we are sitting here now, we are actually yet to see whether these jobs were supposed to be created in the green schemes or whether they were supposed to be created in new farms. But there is yet no number to say this is the number of jobs that have come up now.
Namibia is a land of movement, with waves that never stop reaching forward. Here, adventure is not something we search for. It is something we are born into. In every corner of this country, creativity rises, from artists, from athletes, from dreamers. And when the world comes to explore Namibia, they discover something extraordinary. Because when sport moves people, creativity moves ideas, and tourism moves the world toward us. Something powerful happens. A platform where movement meets imagination, where industries connect, where opportunity grows, where Namibia's next chapter begins. Welcome to the Creative Sport Tourism Expo. Exhibit, partner, experience. Creative Sport Tourism.
Joined by Tuenikelao Kamulu. She's a 73-year-old pensioner who has been in the news in recent days after what many people perceive as very harsh treatment that she got from a church in northern Namibia, where she had gone to seek spiritual healing on a persisting pain in her leg. She was paraded before cameras and called a witch, and she has since opened a police case for that slander. Unfortunately, Mekulu Kamulu can only speak Oshiwambo, and we are going to conduct this interview in Oshiwambo. But prior to the interview, let's just look at what transpired in that church on the day.
Kwende kuchansa kucha inima yao ya kula indako nkuru pele ntumba penya topo pimu inima ishe tuaru kandi kwa alikanene esiwa kunyolungo wapata iko wafa eo kala anduka befo aluka tokwene nengapa mangule njuku mangulu kali vali anu va hakuna wana iku mangulu kali vali anu na wana unengono
Awa miili bano.
Okata tukufiku ukapeni ngiyo libano.
Nanda igya nanda miili bano ne igya nongenda talelwe ngisikulia name.
Konkunda kuaja tetove kutata yako shike, tachove kuloloka. We kutata yako shike.
Shike wat. Ni tata wako nami.
That is what transpired in church. The church is called the Apostle Shombe Ministries. It is within the vicinity of Ongwediva in Oshana region. And the man heard speaking to her who is not in the camera is, of course, Apostle Shondre Solomon Shombe. Now we speak to the pensioner Mekuru. Tuenike lao mu halapo nawa? O mulina wako Kongo? Waningane mafikuli ngone mo mikundane kivati shinashangone nonkalo ukwaiwa watriti ngwangone pongereka yonsa mane po pongweje warwapo.
Nda amanginango kuruta kuelewa na shinda ko polisi ndaka lopota ndaka turamo shigbo fonde ilwengo.
Okay, tulombwela manga ne utupengone efano kucha efiku eli waya opoye kokongeleka ko shenda ngalipi o ongeleka oyu dapeni kuto kunongeleka ilingao no kwetu Kongo ya kulo la fapeni.
Ongeleka Ndinane memo mweli po hengelo po.
Yeah.
Oye na udaive no kuro tati na andi tatine nandi Aka indilile bacha kulu kange kaka indilile wene.
Yeah.
Ine ndaya kunya.
Yeah.
Ondaya olona kaya.
Yeah.
Ya, oisinda kaya kongeleka konda kaya ko olona kaya na shikulako. Ingona ya mangeleka shonde ya mbalo kuya mungolongalo.
Yeah.
Yo shinga ane kuseishinge twasangwa matine tu. Yo tamano ai utokongosike orio banu.
Yeah.
Amandate oire banu ngari. Esingotaka jamo.
Yeah.
Mangula sibaka samoso ndaka sitalu kilamo. Okuya tati. Oira mashikeno nena mutokongosike orio banu.
Yeah.
Mumbole nyomune omuna mayoka. Momuna nirulu, momuna nwanu avende. Menu ya matende tamane tata tingono kendu tatenye dia nanga. Yama yoke niyo ya mama mifinda.
Yeah.
Amene aya sotoriko kuti askani ilivan. Sotoriko kuti o mayoka ta monongo mifinda hari ni kukwati. Aya oliovan. Vati no mayoka no kane yokari la dingatela ngamandati ne yokari tongoli ngokulu kwangela dingatelange amande ndashike manjira ndo tashike shinda dingatela keoka no kujabo shindekini te kola kola kataluga kunyini ili mona kola kapekendo uta no kujapa ne ukulu kwatame kakuvela baise
Yeah.
otalo mbolo holio bana ni lungo muli mumboleni uwete ngove iyo nangara tatuka iyo nangara usiku tatukondati tata ne karunga kango kweli tane nyishini mesho tatong.
Yeah.
Nandeke nandi
Okay.
nishama tatongo no kutuka kutotongo itukanishisha.
Yeah. Paife lombelenge neme tuenike la kucha eshiwa yako kongeleka ko owa japeni o adile la peni wajane kumbo kwa Kongo ilo peni na waja fikwolo.
Zikolon da jabo po enjele.
Yeah.
Pombo pa hombo wa meme hemili ya kantoshi.
Yeah.
Hombo ba kutate Filimon.
Yo henjelo ilipeni nkunda ulipeni.
Enjeli ngo po sana o mosana ngomo.
Po pepine na no ngwe diva po ngopu nongeleka.
Po petingono ngwe diva na sita kongeleka po pepsa sikele.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yo wafuta po shambela ilo makulo hanja oshali ashende ngalipi.
Ai nandifuta saa. Utaumba shikonga lo nyango hayumbwa.
Yeah.
ngoto mbayo yena sineta kongere ko sonda kaso ngeme o tati ne shandula kucha o to metamulata mononge kucha bachondile oje tastingali pile memo tati okandeka memingo ina vaina imwe baba imwe yotamano kucha ye mongula hati ni ko sonda ha na mokwandi ko mambo nde o shama hipote o andi ke uya sitampopi nai Ine atipopi nai ngaho Hello?
Ndikude meme ndakomesho
Shombe, ngwatu popi nai memo kwini ndicho tea. Ine hapo ne pame. Ine hapo nande. Ipo ino kai mako ipopi ufane nako kyokamba kone katuwane kwa watu besha atipopi na shombe. Nakamba koko kenko fenino kuli. Mkajie tuwetenge na neke tuwetenge kucha na ndi mwete. Ondati tata ni shirelodi nande. Tunande ke nande nando be tiene que range toka keke na to spelenge.